I am speaking with our state Senator Bruce Tarr, as I do almost every week. Hi, Senator. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing well, Heather. How are you?
I'm okay. I'm okay.
Good.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. I want to wish you a very happy New Year and tell you how much I look forward to having conversations with you in the new year the way that we did in 2020.
So, on that note, as our state senator, it would be important to hear from you about the events last week. Do you want to comment on that?
Sure. It's hard for me, and I'm usually a person that's not at a loss for words to find enough words to condemn what happened in our nation's capital last week. It was reprehensible. It was disgusting. It was an assault on the fundamental underpinnings of our democracy. And I think it needs to be repudiated at every opportunity. And I also think that our president needs to be repudiated for his role in what happened there. It reminded us that the words we say as public officials are important, and we should focus on saying things that heal and not things that divide, and certainly not things that incite violence on our nation's capital. And Heather, like so many people on Cape Ann and throughout our country, that building is very important to me. It's a sacred place. And I've always had a special feeling when I've been able to visit it over the years as a younger person, and even now as someone who's involved in government. That is a special building. It is a beacon to the world. And to see what happened there is something that is absolutely unacceptable. We should not tolerate it. Everyone involved in what happened should be fully prosecuted. And we need to not forget the importance of condemning that. Even as we look forward to a brighter new year, we can't move on to that without condemning what happened there.
Thank you for that. Well, tell us what you're doing on Beacon Hill right now.
Well, it's an interesting time, Heather, mostly because of the way that the legislative session has gone. You'll recall that we extended the session to go right up until the beginning of the new session. And so we did, and I should point out, we were sworn in last Wednesday here at the State House, and I'm very honored to be serving the people of Cape Ann again and all of the people of our district. And I was honored to be reelected as minority leader of the Massachusetts Senate, and I'm very grateful for that. And one of the things that is a horrible irony to me is that as the Senate president and I were both offering our inaugural remarks in the Senate chamber and talking about collaborating with each other and the importance of having respectful differences of opinion, and from those things forging a path forward, we were witnessing something much different in our nation's capital. And I wish that were not the case, but I am committed to doing everything I can to having Massachusetts be a shining example of how things can be different. And along those same lines, the day before we were sworn in, we were in session until after 4 a.m. So it was actually really the morning that we were sworn in. We left here at the State House. I left at about 5 a.m. And we were working on some important bills. And I'll be the first to tell you, Heather, I'm pleased with the substance of those bills in large part. I'm not pleased with the way things happened. And I think we need to do better in the coming session to do things in a timely way, in a more transparent way, so that people can read what we're discussing in the legislature and have a chance to digest it. But putting that aside for a moment, we could talk about that hopefully later, because we'll be debating rules in the Senate very soon. The things that happened were important. So one of them is a climate change bill. And there are many important things about that bill. The most important for me is something that I was able to put into it that puts us on a path of doing better with carbon sequestration, of taking carbon out of the atmosphere and sequestering it in our natural resources like our marshlands and our forests, so that we can reverse the curve and change the pattern of climate change. And also there were two bond bills. One is an economic development bill, and the second is a transportation bill. And both Representative Ferrante and I worked very hard to put things for Cape Ann into those bills. And so there are some very important local elements to those bills and very important statewide aspects to those bills. The first one would provide resources for our businesses that are struggling to survive through the COVID-19 pandemic, and also do things to make development of housing a little bit more streamlined. And the transportation bill provides money for our transportation infrastructure. And so some very important things in those bills. We work to put money for things like sidewalks and signage, because that's going to be important as we rebuild our tourist economy, into those bills. And Representative Ferrante played a leading role, and I was very happy to work with her on creating a new fund to rebuild wharves and piers, which is very important to our aging waterfront, and also money for the UMass Marine Station in Bayview. So very important local elements to those bills, very important statewide aspects of them.
We did talk to Dick Prouty and about that climate bill, and he and his group Town Green 2025 was, were really cheering it on, and they were cheering on your efforts there too. So thanks for that.
I appreciate that. One of the most gratifying things about representing Cape Ann is the local innovation and the local leadership that I have the benefit of as an elected official. And so I've been thrilled to work with Town Green and thrilled to work with Dick. In fact, we had a very important phone call leading up to the passage of the climate change bill. And I was discussing with him some of the things that I thought were important. He was suggesting things to me. And I really owe to Dick and also an associate of his, Harry Hintian, my passion for climate change with regard to carbon sequestration. They awakened me to the proposal, not the proposal, but the potential of carbon sequestration. And I have become a firm believer in that. And now we see it in the language of the climate change bill. And I hope at least that part of the bill, if not all of the bill, wind up being signed into law.
We look forward to talking to you next week.
Well, thanks. I very much look forward to that. And I hope we can talk about some of the things that are in the bills, hopefully that have become law by then.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Okay, take care.
You too.
Thanks.